Talks, where ancient wisdom meets modern living. I'm your host, Saima, and today we are joined by our amazing Claudia Gallegos, a trilingual spiritual life coach and Akashic Records guide who helps people align with the deepest truth. With warmth, clarity, and a global perspective, she teaches us how to live in sync with who we really are, not just to feel peace, but to embody. So, what does a good life actually look like? Let's find out. Claudia, welcome to the show.
Hello, Saima. How are you doing? What a pleasure to talk to you today.
I'm fantastic, Claudia. Same here. So, Claudia, like in your words, what does it? I'm really curious to know that. What does it really, mean to live in sync with who we truly are?
Well, I can start with a little story about myself. I lived for many years fulfilling the wishes of other people, and I reached a point when I was absolutely miserable. So at that point, I decided that for survival, I needed to go back to myself. And the more I got back to myself, life got easier and easier, and living was more pleasurable than suffering. I was resisting to be who I am and why I came here and what are my gifts. And when I resisted that, I created a lot of suffering. So little by little, I work on myself. I work on the programs we have. I work with the things society imposes on us, and I started uh, to be myself instead of being who other people wanted me to be. So it's a long process. After that, I decided that teaching others was a very fruitful project, because many people are not living in their truth. Many are living in somebody else's truth. So the more I help people, the more I expand, and the more they expand, and we create this super net of love and grow that we are building now, right?
Hmm? Mm-hmm. Really powerful to hear your perspective, Claudia. Actually, not just the words, but like the lived truth behind them, and the way you describe living in sync with who we truly are feels both deeply personal and universally resonant. And I think so many of us are searching for that alignment you spoke of, you know. And your insight really reminds us that coming home to ourselves isn't about becoming someone new, but about to allow ourselves to be fully seen and accepted as we already are. And that was incredibly grounding and inspiring.
And that was incredibly hard to do, because we all have our stories, and the things we came to learn, and we have the program of the society and your parents, your family, your friends, and the image you made of yourself and how you have to live. And then you discover that that image is just an image that came from the outside instead of listening the inside. Um,
Mhm.
I will not say that is a road that uh, is easy to walk, but is the best thing you can do for yourself, because the closer you are to who you really are, to your soul's mission, the happier and happier you become, even when you have obstacles.
Mhm.
So that
Absolutely.
is very, very important. Yes.
That makes so much of sense, Claudia. Now, how can someone tell that when they are out of sync without themselves, like, even if life looks good on the outside?
I I've seen many people whose lives look fantastic from the outside, and when you start talking to them, you can perceive some discomfort, some uneasiness. feeling. You talk to them and they tell you of their, you know, things are going well, but it's hard, it's work. I find that the more you are in sync with yourself, the, the you have a feeling that it's easy, that it flows. It's like a river, right? It's the old image of the river. If there's some kind of damp that is impeding the water accumulates on one side, and then they open the doors and it flows a little bit, and then they close it and it accumulates. Well, that accumulation is our tension. We accumulate the lack of the energy moving through us as it has to move. So, in the process of discovering who you are and discovering how to work with yourself, in that process, you start finding the flow of life. You start finding how to how to listen and to observe the small signs that are in your path to um, to evolve, right? And even if they're little obstacles, there's no obstacle that we cannot overcome. The only obstacle, if you want to call it obstacle, is when you leave your body. Then there's nothing else to do. But until then, we have a lot of time to do things and to connect with ourselves. So to me, the image of flowing is one of the most important ones. Um, I live now in South Florida in the United States, and we are very close to coral reefs. And one day I was looking into the water from a bridge, and that bridge was the limit between the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. So it's two very big bodies of water. So there was this big fish, a tarpon, that were coming and going from the ocean to the bay, and so on and so forth. And one of the fish was like in like patient waiting, and suddenly I saw him rushing into the bay, into the Gulf of Mexico. And that was a big revelation. The only ones who put obstacles and um, who put obstacles and put constraints on how we flow are us humans. So if a fish knows to wait patiently to catch the current, why are we resisting the current? I mean, consciously, none of us would do that, would swim upriver instead of downriver, right? We wouldn't do that. But still, when we talk about our life, we swim upriver and we say, well, the obstacles are good. And no, maybe they're not so good.
Mm,
They're only a step for learning, right?
yes. I agree. Florida, I really appreciate the way you brought like that compassion and honesty to that truth. And what you shared really, highlights something so important, like how easy it is to ignore or even justify the inner disconnection when everything appears fine on the surface. And your words are such a great reminder.
Well, I also live in Miami, and Miami is a city that where you can see the money. It's a city where the money is very present, and you can see very luxurious cars all the time. like not in an exclusive area. You can see luxurious cars. You can see people with luxurious jewelry and purses and clothing. So one of my first observations was that um, even when you see people with all these items, the exterior signs of happiness, you have to look into their face and look into their eyes and see if that is coordinating with the inside. And many times when you look into the eyes, there's a sense of angst, of something missing, and they don't know what it is. And those needs are being covered by things, by purses, cars, clothing, jewelry, or whatever it is. So that is a very, very important thing, because when we start covering with outside things, whatever is happening inside is not going to disappear. It's going to amplify, because it's a call from our soul to tell us, well, you are doing all this and it's not working. So now what? Now, what should we do? Right? So every time we start feeling, oh, I need to get something outside, the question becomes, what do I need inside that is asking me to go outside? What I am not listening? Why I am not listening to myself? Right? And there is where I see the reconnection with yourself. That is the most
Mhm.
important thing. You go back and you reconnect with yourself, and
Yes,
then
yes.
you start going forward.
Hmm. Yes. That dissonance between outer success and inner chaos is something so many of us silently carry.
Yes, and it's very frequent, and it's even it's expanding everywhere. And the answers, whatever um religious tradition you are on, um all the paths say the same thing: inquire within. The answers are in yourself. Look at yourself, close your eyes, and listen to yourself. All the answers are inside. And the modern world is telling us differently. So when we encounter these kinds of dissonance, even more we have to take time to we have to take the time to listen to ourselves and to see what is the best for us. And because it's good for other people, it doesn't mean that it's going to be good for oneself. You know,
Hmm.
uh,
Yes.
it's it's a very, very, very subtle recognition. But the signs are not. Uh, the signs outside are not loud. They're subtle. Is our fine tuning to say, oh, okay, this is where I'm listening. This is where I'm feeling better. It's fine tuning. It's a fine adjustment.
100%. I completely agree with that, Claudia. Now, you work deeply with the Akashic records, so I'm really eager to know that how does this spiritual tool actually help people reconnect with their truth?
Well, the Akashic records are the information of all souls recorded in individually in the universe, and at the same time in resonance with the universal self, right? Not in the sense of this world, but from the um, infinite possibilities field. So the Akashic records help us to start the journey inside to start working with ourselves, to start the path and clarify where we're going and how we're going. And what is a helper along the way. Yeah, that is why I like this tool, and it's a direct search. It's a search straight into your soul. So the more you look into your soul, the quicker you get connected and flowing. But the more you flow, the more you want to flow, right? So the Akashic records are, um, to me, are one of the most precious tools that I have along meditation, because meditation helps me um, to recognize how what is my voice and what is not my voice, and the Akashic records help me to um, with an Akashic records consultant. I have the ability to go deeper in aspects of myself that I cannot see, because we all have blind spots, right? It's not a novelty. We have, we can see what we can see, but some other things that we would like to see we cannot see. So there is where the Akashic records come in and can help you, make the step forward, a big step forward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That was such a beautiful explanation, Claudia, I must say. Like the way you described the Akashic records, not just as a spiritual resource, but as a mirror for deepest truth, is really moving. And it's powerful to witness how this kind of inner connection can offer people a sense of clarity and peace they might not even know they were missing. And I'm really grateful you shared that.
Well, the spiritual tools are really to make us evolve. So one of the spiritual tools are the Akashic records, and the Akashic records can help you to go back to you, go back to your true self, and go back to have a physical life from a spiritual point of view. And I find that that is a unique gift. They have helped me to reconnect with myself in a very, very great manner, and my life is becoming better and better every day because of that. So I can not only do it because uh, it's a tool, but because of my own experience.
Mhm. That's empowering, I must say. Now, you've spoken on international stages, and that's so remarkable. So, how have different cultures shaped your view of what it means to live a good life?
Well, I think it's not a culture. I think living a good life, creating an art of your good life, that is what I teach, um, is uh, creating the life you want. It does not depend on the external factors. It's the physical manifestation of your true self in this physical life. So when you start reconnecting with your true self, you reconnect first spiritually, then that becomes into your mind, then that sinks into your heart, and then you have to put it in practice. Because if all this spiritual, mental, and hard work doesn't become a reality in your life has not changed. So if when you are looking for a change in your life, is to bring the ethereal world into the physical world. And to do that transition, we need to bring it back to the we need to work in steps. We can use one of the tools is the Akashic Records to find what is the good life of of oneself. It's not related to others. Then we're going to find people that resonates in the life we choose, right? But that is a secondary step. The first step is to find how to resonate with you and bring that kind of vibration into your reality.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely love how you cut through the noise and, brought it back to something so simple and true. That sense of agency is so empowering, and it's not always easy, but it's real, and that's what makes it so powerful.
Well, you know I what I've noticed is that there's an acceleration of for looking. There is an acceleration for looking for a good life, but a life that makes us feel not happy on the outside, but happy on the inside. That the inside is reflected in our outside. So, um, to do that, we have to do the hard work. We have to start observing ourselves, practicing awareness. We have to be silent, um, practice meditation. It doesn't mean that you have to do a meditation of 4 hours sitting in a cushion if that is not your thing. Maybe your meditation is to go for a walk and be present in the place where you are walking. That is also a kind of meditation. And then is to bring the awareness and the is to bring the awareness and the observations of the meditations and start acting from the silence that you find inside. And then the next step is going to be is naturally going to become the manifestation of that internal state of connection into our physical life.
Mm. That's again a beautiful reminder, Claudia, and I'm sure this is going to be beneficial to all our listeners out there. And thank you, Claudia, for reminding us that peace isn't a destination, it's a byproduct of living truthfully. And to all our listeners out there, alignment isn't about perfection, it's about remembering who you are again and again. So pause, listen, and begin because the art of a good life starts with the courage to be.